Believe it or not, advertising is not just about memorizing numbers. Think about it as a journey: impressions, clicks, orders, sales, and profit. And each of those numbers tells you exactly what's going on, where the customer is dropping off, and most importantly, what you need to do in order to optimize your ads. So many sellers, when they log into the Amazon Ads Manager, just see a bunch of metrics: impressions, CTR, CPC. You might understand the abbreviations of those numbers, but you don't necessarily know what they mean and their impact on your ads. So the good news is, in today's video, this is gonna be Amazon Advertising 101, and I'm gonna go through all of the ads metrics to help you better understand what each metric means and what its impact is on your business. If this is your first time watching a video on this channel, hi, my name is Crystal, founder and CEO of Sellers Society. But if you are a loyal subscriber, welcome back. Sellers Society is an award-winning Amazon certified partner agency, and we've been supporting sellers since 2019 on Amazon in the Middle East. Let's get to work. Metric number one is an impression. So when a customer logs in to Amazon and types in a particular keyword, they're gonna get so many different results. All the top results are sponsored. Now, when I have scrolled past the ads, this schedules as an impression on the ads manager of the brand. So the question it answers is, are shoppers actually seeing my ad? If you have very low impressions, then it might be a bidding problem, it might be a keyword problem, or it even might be a budget problem. Metric number two, CTR. Going back to our example, are customers, when they see the ad, are they stopping and clicking? And if they are, what is the percentage of customers that are doing so? So CTR equals clicks divided over impressions. And yes, it comes out as a percentage. A good CTR starts at 0.5%. It's not going to be very high, as normally impressions are incredibly high compared to CTR, but still now you have a metric. If CTR is low, it might be for different reasons. So think about when a customer scrolls and looks at the product in the search results page. What would be the main reasons that the customer doesn't click on the product page? So things like the image, the title, the price, the reviews all play a very important role. Even maybe if the ad, which is not really likely with Amazon, but still, even if the product is showing up, the ad is showing up in an irrelevant search, or maybe you're focused too much on very broad keywords. Metric number three, CPC, or cost per click. The question here is, how much am I paying for each visitor? Lower is certainly always better. However, this is not necessarily in your control, as Amazon works on a PPC basis and sellers tend to bid for placement. So for example, if you're selling in categories that tend to have a lot of competition, then you might be paying up to 10 dirhams as a cost per click. If you're selling in standard categories, it might be as little as 1 dirham. Again, you're competing against other sellers for placement, so the more demand there is for a product, the higher the margins for that product, the higher sellers are willing to pay per click. And then you're gonna have to also pay higher if you want higher placement. Like I said, lower is always better. However, it's not just about being lower, it's about the profitability. If you have really good profit margins on your product, then you are able to pay a little bit higher in cost per click because you're gonna get higher profits. Metric number four, and very, very important, one of my favorite metrics, conversion rate. So the main question is, do visitors actually buy? So once they are in your product page, how many of them are opting to purchase? Now again, this is not necessarily related to the ad itself, as the ad only points people into your product page. If you have a low conversion rate, this is a major problem because you're literally losing money, and you need to look at your product page optimization, such as main image, content, reviews. Definitely, if you were to get, unfortunately, a couple of negative reviews, you see your CVR plummet so much because now customers are not willing to buy a product if it has negative reviews. And vice versa, if you get some good positive reviews, you see increase in conversion rate as you're able to provide more confidence to the customer and they feel like, yeah, this must be a good product. So your average conversion rate needs to be above 3%. The higher, the better in this case. Metric number 5, ACoS. This is probably one of the most popular metrics and a metric that a lot of people understand but not really. So the question is, how much advertising did I spend to get a sale? So as an example, if I spent 20 dirhams on ads and I generated 100 dirhams in sales, then my ACoS is 20%. In this case, lower is always better, but there is not a certain metric that you need to be under, as it's very much related to your profitability. Metric number 6, ROAS, or return on ad spend. Again, this is one of my favorite metrics. The question here is, how much revenue did each advertising dirham generate? So let's say I spent 100 dirhams on ads and I generated 500 dirhams in sales, then my ROAS is 5, which is great. You want to have your ROAS to be a minimum of 3. That is arguably a good number if you are launching, of course. Now, ROAS and ACoS tend to be opposite to each other. So the lower the ACoS, the higher the ROAS, and vice versa. And metric number 7 is sales, basically understanding how much revenue you've generated from ads. This is an important metric, but sales is not just the most important number. It is a number that shows you revenue for sure. There are a lot of details that you need to look into. However, all of the other metrics help you understand what is going on with your ads and what you need to do in order to improve. You have low CTR, you have a low CVR. What do you need to do in order to make those changes to get to the results that you want, which is ultimately more sales and more profitability? I hope this was helpful. Let me know, leave a comment in the comment section below what you think about this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video with more information. Bye.